Hello, welcome to Kenty Primetime. Paul Kent here again, looking ahead of this week's preliminary finals. And I've got two young guns with me today. Blayke Brailey from the Roosters, Hugo Savala from the Roosters. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Kenty.
Thank you. Cheers.
So we're going to have a chat today. We'll have a little chat this weekend, Friday night, obviously Storm versus Sharks down there in Melbourne. Then Sunday, 2 days later, which I can find interesting, Broncos versus Panthers. Just quickly on that. The extra 2 days, whoever wins Friday night, they'll get 2 extra days recovery. How big an advantage will that be?
I reckon it'll be a slight advantage for sure.
Yeah.
Always just getting the extra 2 days to rest and then also to prep for the game. You get a little bit longer to prep and mentally get ready, but it's probably a little advantage, I reckon.
So when you finish playing a game, you'll finish your game. How many days do you spend in straight recovery before you then, okay, now we're going to start doing all the stuff we need to do looking ahead for the game? Like, is it 2 days, 3 days? What do you do?
You get 1 day off, like straight after the game. You have play Saturday night. You have Sunday off, and then you come in on Monday, and there'll be like more review of the game. So we'll like have like a bit of a video in middles, and then team, and then you'll jump in the weight room, and you'll just do like a light session sort of. I just get the body moving and everything, and either you might go out on the field, or sometimes you might jump in the pools and you get the body moving and everything. And if you're on the field, it's just skills and a bit of stuff to work on.
Yeah. So Storm Sharks, whoever wins Sunday, they'll be doing the light weights. They'll be doing maybe a little bit on the field when Broncos and Panthers have yet to play.
Yeah.
It's going to be definitely an advantage.
Yeah, I reckon it has to be.
Yeah.
But I also reckon when teams have had back-to-back consecutive week games and they might have had a bye for a few weeks, maybe the coach will give them 2 days off or something. Yeah. Robbo did a bit of that with
the
us.
grand final's hard to sort of get your head around too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You got to prepare mentally.
Yeah, you don't want to waste a minute though either.
No way.
All right, Roosters this year. It was one of the funny years for the Roosters. It looked like it was going to be a really challenging year at one point there, and there's a lot of talk about a rebuild sort of season. You were relatively unknown by then, Hugo, at that point, but then you came on and launched yourself. But you've been coming back from the knee. You had a good year though. You had more than 20 games off the bench this year. How tough was that early? Just talk us through the early stages of the Roosters season when you probably didn't get off the start to the season that you probably would have hoped, and I imagine there would have been a little bit of pressure around the club.
I thought the boys had like a really good preseason, so I know that really put us in good stead for like the midway and the back end of the season. So everyone, the belief was always there. Even in the first few rounds, even though we got beat by the Broncos in round one, everyone was going, what was going on? But it was definitely in us, and it just come, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that Broncos loss though made everyone go, oh, hang on a second. Yeah. The Roosters probably aren't the Roosters that we've become used to.
Yeah, everyone sort of in the media straight away just jumped onto us and talking about everyone we lost and all that, and then such a big scoreline in that game as well. I feel like everyone sort of was like, oh, it's like they're done now. And then the week after that, round 2, come out and beat Penrith. So I feel like that everyone was like, oh, what does happen then?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
How was Robbo in that period there?
No, he was good. He just obviously has a lot of belief in us. He knew there was a lot of things to work on and everything. Like there was new combinations, boys boys' first games in the NRL and everything. And then, but he always knew how we wanted to play, and that's what he sort of built us through the season. Like we weren't there at the stage of how we wanted to play football then, but as we built up, so he was trying to get us in there the best like prime to be coming up against these good teams early on. So he was good with the belief in us as well. Yeah,
and when you came in, mate, the club was probably looking for you, to be honest, and certainly externally, I don't think there was a lot of people sort of, we'd heard big raps on you, and we all knew, we'd heard you coming through and all the rest of it, but you actually took to it pretty quickly, didn't you? It looked like you found your feet in first grade pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, I think it was the game against Broncos. They Robbo picked me to play halfback, and I was only just coming off the bench for a few games before that, and it was sort of a little bit of a big step up, I guess. But I think just the preseason and the training leading up to it just gave me a lot of belief, and all the older guys in the team like Teddy, Victor, like Gussie, all that, they just believed in me, and then all the young boys and everyone in the team just believed in me, and it was just like so cool that it started to build, and it actually made it fairly easy just having those older guys in the team believe in you. As Stevie said before, Robbo believed in us, but so did the older leadership guys in the team.
Yeah. So much was put on the Roosters being without Sam Walker, though, with his injuries and okay, well, there they go and all the rest of it. But, you're kind of a revelation in some ways, the way you came through and you almost like picked up the slack and everyone's like saying, hang on, we don't really have a halfback problem at the moment.
Yeah, I just thought it was just Robbo had just come to me at the start of each week and just I knew my role each week. It was just really, really simple. I'd kick well, defend well, and then just guide the boys around the park. And it was
That's
really
a pretty
good.
big job, though.
Yeah. Well, it is, but he made it simple for me, and we had such clear game plans going into each week. And I was really clear with the boys, and the boys were really good to manage the game with, and we had such good middles and go forward that I could just play my game and sort of direct him around. And credit to Sandon and Teddy as well in the spine there, where they played their role, and it's so good to just play with a player like Teddy as well. We had a good sort of combo there through the year, and it sort of we started to build towards the back end of the year. Me and him had a good combination, and then same with Sandon and Sammy. And it just gelled. I think everyone got along really well as well, which made it so much easier on the field.
Yeah, the early part there when you're finding your way in the team, you say Robbo's game plan was so simple. How simple? Like, what was your, like you said kick well, but when you say guiding the team around the park, do you have, like, what were your guidelines there? Like, what were, like, just talk us through a set or two of what that looked like.
Well, we are like, we're a powerful team. We have great back five, and we have really powerful middles and edges. So, plan was everyone just put high support, everyone pushing, and sort of me and Sandon out the back of shape just pushing. But we just in between scrum lines, we'd sort of power in between. And if we want to get at a spot with a half or a hooker, we'd power at them, and then off the back of that, we'd kick them into positions we think are bad positions for them, whether that's high ball on a smaller fullback or kick into the corners, and we just back our line speed off the back of that. But and even on a few games this year, we really game planned just last tackles was to find our wingers, because that's a big strength of ours. Is Toops and Markey there. So even if we don't have the best good ball set, we can still find a way to score points through them. But yeah, as the year went on, we had a few variations in our sets where we can move the ball a bit more. But Robbo made it really simple for me going into the games, and really simple for the spine, that it wasn't too complicated and everyone was on the same page. But yeah, we built it towards the back end of the year there, and it was unfortunate that we couldn't execute our game plan in the first semi-final, which is very disappointing. But it's something we can always learn. The
one of the, I suppose, the underlying narratives this season has been that we're led to believe impending arrival of Cherry Evans, and at that, I know at certain points this year that the old manager has considered whether he would seek a loan deal for you at another club, because if Cherry Evans comes to play one season or whatever, then clearly they're intending to play him at 7, and you're playing too well to go back to State Cup and all that, and there's a big belief that your development needs to continue in first grade, which is going to be hard to do if Cherry Evans is there. Where do you sit with all that?
Look, I'm not too sure. Look, Chimesy Steve, he's working on what's best for me, but I love the Roosters and I love the club, and I love playing halfback for the club, or 5'8" for the club. I really think that I could build something with Sammy, and
because Sandon's gone, so there is that 6 jersey available.
Exactly. But there's a lot of young boys in the team, Steepy and all the young boys coming through, and I think there's a good energy about us. And I'd love to keep that with the crew. And if he is coming to the club, I'd love to I'd love to compete for that position. But whether that happens or not, I'm not too sure. And
what have you been told about that?
Well, I haven't really. It hasn't really come out. It hasn't been told to me. And
so they haven't given you any indication at all.
Well, I actually don't know until when is it? November the 1st, when it'll probably come out or whatever. But I'm just sort of just waiting to see what happens, and then when it happens, to see how I feel. And I just want to play my best football, but I'd love to play love to be at the Roosters, obviously.
it's a big decision to make, isn't it? Because you can say to yourself, well, look, I want to stay and I want to compete. I want to go for that 6 jersey, which most likely will be with Sam Walker in the side as well. But with them paying, the Roosters paying so much money, we all anticipate. No one knows. Like even now, it's ridiculous that we're even talking about it like in this manner. That nobody will come out and confirm it, but it leaves you in limbo.
Yeah, it sort of does.
So it hasn't helped you at all.
It's but it is. We have got a whole off season, so my manager will just he'll sort out what he has to do.
You might be living in Townsville next year. Who knows? Like, nah. You know what I mean? but that's the reality of it. Like, if the longer they leave it, the longer it leaves you in a situation where you've got to make your decision because. The game is growing up in many ways, and the idea of a lone player now, 15, 20 years ago, would have been absurd. But we saw Harry Grant go and play at Tigers for a year because he was behind Cameron Smith and clearly wasn't going to budge him out of the spot. And has become that, here and there over time, other players have done that. And it's a real reality in your immediate future now.
Yeah, no, it is. But as I said like before, I'm just... I'm trying to enjoy the off season. I'll enjoy a bit of time off as well. Not trying to be stressed about the.
I'm ruining it for you.
The football. Nah, it's all good. Just the football side of things and try to sort of like.
Yeah.
Just get away from it, but that's why you got a manager, I guess. So he'll make he'll have the chats with the Roosters and whatnot. But I love the Roosters. So, I'm an East boy. I'm a Roosters boy.
Yeah, well
that's a shame if it does happen. But that's rugby, and I'm a competitive sort of person. So.
What about if you have the choice at one point? Okay, mate. Chimes rings you up, says, "Mate, I've got you a spot here at this club. So you've now got to make a choice. Do you stay at the Roosters and compete, or do you go and say, you know what, like they're going to be? I dare say the A set for the Roosters, if they're going to bring Cherry Evans in." Is to start him at 5'8" and Sam at 7.
Yeah, look, as I said before, I love to compete, and I did that this year in the preseason. I didn't really have a spot anywhere, and in the team, even I wasn't even probably second string or third string.
In the centres.
Had been training in the centres for a bit, and even just in the trial games I was at lock, but deep down I always knew I was a halfback, and I played halfback growing up, but through the grades and stuff. But if there was other options out there, I'd just have to consider with my family and what I really want to do. And it's the Roosters is my home and it's my heart. But sometimes if there's not a spot there or something, but I just have to probably sit down with Robbo, and I like Robbo as a coach. So
it's unusual, but is there any chance they'd sort of look at you and say play the 14 role?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure where they'd see me if that did happen. But I'm just I'm grateful to have played this year a full season of NRL, and I love it. Love playing in the NRL, and you never really want to go a backward step, of course. So we'll just see what happens. Yeah,
and mate, you got some good footy behind you this year, which must be nice. Like you had the ACL a couple of years ago, which knocked you around, and this year, you're still you're only 20 now, aren't you? 20, you're still very young. So, how did you find the season as it unfolded, and the little bit of adversity at the beginning? And
that was good. As obviously, as Hugo said, it was a good preseason, and it helped having Teddy and Connor and that come back before Christmas as well. So they came back 2 weeks before Christmas, so we're already building connection then and there straight away. So usually they're way behind, like coming back after Chrissy, and you don't really get to see them boys as much. And so like that was the first thing that I noticed was more important. And then as the season went on, I feel like the boys just built more confidence, especially us young boys, like going in there for like semi-first season, and you're facing up against these big boys on round one against like Payne Haas and that coming off the bench, and it's just like it's an eye opener. So then you get out there and you don't know how to be confident, and you don't know, you're just in the shadows a little bit. But then as more training and more time with the older boys and everything, you start to build more confidence to get out there, and like I am here for a reason. I can get out there and rip in. So I feel like that kind of showed how our season went as well. And we started building up, getting some good wins, obviously at Anzac Day, and then went to Magic Round, and then I just kept building from there. Obviously a few tough games in amongst that, but we're on the right track. Definitely.
Robbo is one of those fascinating coaches. I think in many ways he's a little bit sort of unusual. He sort of dances to his own beat a little bit. How do you find being coached by him? Like, what's different about him as a coach?
I'd say it'd probably be different for me and you. Like me and Robbo probably aren't speaking like all the time like he would with his halves and everything. He'd come at captain's run and stuff, and if there's a review and stuff, I'm definitely like he's having a few things, but it's only a quick little chat, and it's and I know I need it. And but on captain's run, it'll just be like, I need that line speed, I need you to be tough and everything. So it's different for me compared to it would be for Hugo and the halves and everything. He wants me to be a tough footballer and you know, bring energy for the boys. I am a young fella, so I need it, and I've got a bunch of energy, so I need to bring that out when it's my time to come on the field, and so lift the boys up. So between me and him, it's a good relationship. It might not be one full of words and everything, but we know like he knows what he can get out of me, and I want to get my best for him. Yeah,
like he's an unusual coach in some ways, though, isn't he? Because he's not just a straight X's and O's. He brings in sort of all kind of influences from outside and all the rest of it. I remember a story years ago, and this always fascinates me about him. He a bunch of guys for the Mark Hughes Foundation did that climb up Mount Everest to the base camp and whatnot.
He did that, didn't he?
Yeah, he went along,
and Robbo went. And Robbo went, and basically a lot of the old Newcastle Knights players from back the golden era sort of period. And there's various parts of the climb, and they had a really difficult climb the next day. And Robbo, part of his thing was they wanted him to talk. So what he did was he got up the night before and gave basically a dressing room speech.
Really?
Yeah. And that's what, like,
what mountain was it? Mount Everest.
Mount Everest.
Everest,
Yeah, they didn't go to the top of Mount Everest. It was up to
base camp.
Base camp, and then base camp. But I think there's another part. There's another part to it that's a
few like camped one and two.
It's a difficult part. Yeah. I remember, like, Matty Johns was telling me a great story about how him and Chief were doing it after the Robbo speech, and he said, "Mate, I just had enough." He said, "Chief's got 2 busted knees, but he's just such a leader, and he's so mentally determined that all he did was just kept putting one foot in front of the other." And Matty was like, "Mate, in the end, I was embarrassed that I couldn't go with him." And so Matty just sort of just dragged along and treated. But that's just what a leader Chief was. He just put his head down and did the job. But he said the night before, Robbo gave him the speech, and he said at the end of that speech, he said everyone just felt like that. Yeah, let's go now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They were pumped, ready to go for it. Which I'd love to. I wish someone had taped it. Recorded it so we can have a look at it.
That's definitely how he's in the sheds before the games. He's passionate, and he loves what he does, and he loves us as a team. So he wants the best for us. So he's he's so passionate about it. He's a very smart man. He obviously he knows what he wants and stuff. But he's when it comes time to game time, it's like you have to be tough, and he's just a real leader like that. So he gets the boys up ready to go. Does
he have like little pillars he leans on? Like are there some things that regularly brought up in that moments that these are the things that I suppose hit a nerve with you guys, and little triggers that get you going and things like that?
Well, I think so. He has those things, but we sort of throughout the year and the start of the year, we sort of build our pillars that were like what the boys believed in, believe will create a
non-negotiable
team.
stuff.
Not like sort of that stuff, but and then he would just double down on that every week. It's called like our code. And this year was big on belief, heart, and then connection. So we'd always double down on that before games, and see if we're living up to those standards and stuff. And it was really drove by the leaders in our group, all that stuff. But then Robbo would double down on it all the time, and then it'd keep everyone accountable.
Yeah. And Teddy, I imagine he's come along as such a leader as well that he's just basically he's the physical version of what Robbo's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a leader, like leads with his words and with his actions. Obviously, he's unreal, and then off the back of that, the other boys, Rads, Lindsay, Gussie, Spence, Connor, like there's so many leaders in the group as well. So it's good for us young boys coming through, and you can still have a little bit of fun and joke around time where around the club and in the change rooms and stuff. But then when you get on the field, we're on.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this weekend's games because I'm fascinated to hear you guys talk about these games. Friday night again down in Melbourne versus Cronulla. Sunday Brisbane against Penrith up in Brisbane. But we'll first talk about the Friday night game. Cronulla, what's happened to them in the past month? Where did this come from? Because they've been an unusual side all year, and we've spoken about it. The fascination is that they're offended that everybody's been questioning Cronulla all year. Even at the same time, they're actually admitting that they understand why, because it's only been the past 5-6 weeks. I know they've been on a bit of, I think they've won 9 their past 10 or something like that. But they have been, their defensive effort particularly has really gone up. And suddenly they're a different team than what they were 6 weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah,
Steve.
That's the stuff. I feel like Fitzy probably drives that defence.
Yeah.
I reckon their line speed, you can definitely tell compared to other years how like tight they are, and they're down there bashing you.
Yeah,
That's what we definitely noticed when we versed them in the round. The last at Cronulla, like we just couldn't get out of yardage and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I noticed, that they've actually doubled down on their defence and their line speed. So they're tight as, and they're teeing off and setting you up in bad field position, and then they can just play off that.
yeah. Did anything surprise you when you played them in the first week of the finals? Like you talk about you played them twice this year during the year.
Yeah. Central Coast and then down at Cronulla as well.
Yeah, and then you got them at
We've played them 3 times this year.
three times with the final. Yeah.
Yeah.
The difference in each version you got.
The first one was at Central Coast, and that's when we didn't have any Origin boys or anything, and we had 2 debuts and stuff, and I don't know, we saw it and we came out and we rolled them.
Yeah, you were outsiders in that game.
Yeah, 100%. We came out and rolled them. I feel like that was probably mainly on our behalf as well. Like we were young, full of energy, and I guess sort of that doubt of like our young boys again, which was happening, and then I feel like we stepped up and everything. But that was like such a completely different side we versed compared to the second time we versed them down at Cronulla.
Yeah. Well, how did they improve? Like, what was the difference in them?
I don't know. I think they look a little bit more connected. I don't know. They're all like they're playing together. They got a little bit of momentum going into the back end of the year, and their halves are playing good football.
Yeah.
And your spine's playing good football. Usually your team's playing good football. And they got really powerful middles too. So if their middles are going forward and their back five are good at getting out of trouble too, so it gives them half good opportunity to play football down the other end. I think that's what's been going on.
We've put a lot of the, and correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of talk about Blayke Brailey's form, and he's really kicked since basically just before Origin period. He sort of found another gear, and he's had a really, really strong season. But as the season's worn on, his dominance and his increasing dominance in the spine has sort of brought the best out of Nico and Trindle. Like, it's allowed them to probably just, I don't know what it is. Like, they've got more room. Like, he's getting out of dummy half. He's just finding space for them to just suddenly play. And Nico's running the ball now. He's back in career best form at the moment.
Yeah, well, when we played him, he was that quick around the ruck and stuff. So maybe teams are tightening up the ruck and maybe a little bit more space out wide on the edges. Teams obviously going to be game planning if there's a quick ruck, and Brailey's got it. Obviously he's going to go, and it's very damaging around the ruck. So if teams are tightening up, it probably gives the halves a bit of options out wide on the edges.
So Melbourne are going to look at what they've been doing the past 6 weeks. Okay, they're going to look at Brailey getting out of dummy half. They're going to watch Nico's running the ball. The fascination part too is basically Trindle's playing halfback and Nico's playing 5/8 the way they're playing, even though they're wearing the opposite jersey. But it's almost like Craig Fitzgibbon's doing that just to stop the noise around the fact that, okay, Nico's no longer the halfback and all that sort of stuff that would generate. But they're certainly playing that way. But Melbourne will know that. So how do Melbourne get into those guys this week and start to upset them and get them out of it and start to win that area of the game?
What do you reckon, Steve?
Probably taking away their yardage. I feel like they're so powerful at getting out of yardage and that, and Storm are going to be like, they're going to go long, they're going to go live as they always have. So if they can do that for longer than them, like getting up off the line speed, smashing their back five and everything, because that's their power. And then you got Big Adden and that coming on, and Rudolph, they come on and generate that ruck speed for Brailey. So if they're locking down that ruck speed, it's gonna, and then that doesn't give time for Nico and everything. Taking away his time is probably their main thing they're going to do.
Yeah, they've been hugely impressive, Cronulla, like their outside backs,
Yeah.
just the way they get it all going.
Mm.
The Melbourne, I hate saying this word, but does the Melbourne wrestle come into this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course.
It has to. Definitely. Always does.
I get myself into trouble whenever I talk about the Melbourne wrestle, but that's like I imagine that there's going to be, because their defence has not quite been the Melbourne defence that we've become known for, or they've become known for over the past however many years. But if there's ever a time to pull that old trick out of the bag, it's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Slowing down those big boys and
Yeah.
stopping that quick rock. That's it's
Yeah,
going to
they
be
got
it.
Grant back, so obviously
Yeah.
he'll be locking it down with those other middles.
So for Noah Blayke, how do you stop him then?
In numbers.
Yeah, in numbers, 100%. Yeah. Getting at his legs. Getting
Yeah.
at his legs. He's obviously a big boy. He can absorb the contact and
Yeah.
loves pumping his legs. So we sort of had a good emphasis when we versed him just to try to take away his legs as quick as possible. So
Yeah.
he's not standing that big base. He's so wide and everything.
Yeah.
Just get him on the deck, get him up and down. And then obviously when you're in attack, try wear him out a bit, I guess. Like not running straight at him because he's probably going to fold you.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
running around near him, tying him up and stuff. So
Mm.
I feel like that was kind of when we first versed him, that popped up for us.
Mm. The do they go? How much do they go after the spine players in regard to just trying to sort of beat them up a bit? Like
What, Melbourne or?
Melbourne going after Cronulla. Like look, Nico played there.
Mm.
They know Nico reasonably well.
Yeah.
What do they try? Like, do they try and you roughly him up? Like, how do you try and get him off his game, given
Well,
how he's going?
you also don't want to go off your own game plan either. Like, you don't want to be going searching,
Yeah,
just searching for one player.
Yeah.
You know, you lose your own sort of shape as well. But obviously with their back rowers, Melbourne's back rowers, just getting in at him.
Yep.
If they can.
And Trindle as well.
Yeah, Trindle, but don't go searching. I don't reckon they'll go searching for it. I reckon Melbourne, they'll play their style of football. And
yeah.
but if you make a few extra tackles here and there, maybe they won't be as effective.
Yeah. Is he the like the alpha in their pack for Noah Blayke? Is he the guy that generally when you're going up you find you identify one guy, here's the guy we've got to get at. We get at him, we're going to put a rattle through the rest of the team. Is he the guy you go after?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steve would know
100%.
more about it. He does all the middle meetings.
Yeah,
and stuff.
he's sort of the one that first pops up. Everyone knows that like he's going to be their main guy. He generates their energy and their ruck speed and everything. So Storm should be definitely like trying to take away his time and his power, and that will obviously slow down the rest of their pack. So once you get a good sort of like us, like when you get Fahu and Spenny going at you, and like once you got them coming at you, it's pretty hard to stop it, and then you just got the spine off you. So slowing him down is probably.
What about when you lose that battle? So say you put a kick down, for example, Mulatalo gets the ball, beats the first tackle, busts through or whatever. Suddenly they've got momentum. The middles don't have to run as far back. They're coming onto the ball with the momentum, with plenty of energy. Is that just suck it up and just get through to the kick and try, like, you wipe that set out, or do you just, like, how do you deal with those sets against a side like that?
In the middle, especially like when they're punching through there, obviously the outside backs are going to come flying through, and the big boys have just they're rested up, they're ready to go, and sort of it's just, I feel like you just got to tighten up in that situation, like especially there with Brailey. He's gonna look to get out. There might be a quick ruck in one of those play the balls, and if you can just slow one down, you can win that set back. I reckon if you just get one good tackle, get him on his back, good wrestle, bit more extra time. No penalties or anything, just a bit more extra time. You might be able to win it back, letting that line get set, and then that next tackle after that has to be that important. Just win that one as well, just so you can shut it down. But sometimes when it gets too much, they just keep rolling, then you might not have a good kick pressure, and you just head down getting bashed again.
So when you do that, so you're playing in that area. When you do that, is that just known, or does someone in your side sort of call that out? Yeah, like how do you take it upon yourself? Obviously, there's a little bit of circumstance involved too. Sometimes you just can't get a shot on a bloke and slow him down, okay? And as much as you try, as hard as you're trying, but the recognition of that is that just everyone knows that, or is it something that someone says, boys, this is it? Yeah, we need something, and someone nominates.
Yeah, like, well, coming into it, like I wasn't even like usually like you're playing in the juniors for that. You let the set roll out and everything, but then you got the boys like Radder and Connor and that, and those boys always they're making their choices and they're like they know this set needs to be stopped and they know that something needs to happen. So I feel like those older leader boys and who have been in that situation before, they know how to handle it. So if I sort of comes off on one of them, and then obviously it leads the way for us younger boys to try to do that as well. But like it's obviously. You got to learn that. It comes with more experience of that happening. But once it happens, it's a good relief once you can slow it up a bit.
Yeah, the Melbourne have been. Do you agree that they've been a little bit out of sorts this year? That I get the feeling, having watched them, that we're still sort of waiting for Melbourne to sort of find their game a bit. That they've, as good as they've been going, at one point they did lead the competition. They finished second, so you can't be too critical of them. But from the Melbourne sides we've known, who could be so like systematic and just so structured in the way they play and so disciplined in the way they play, that this Melbourne side is just every now and then they just get a little bit frayed around the edges and they're not quite the Melbourne that we've become used to. Is that a fair call?
I don't know. They've had a lot. I think they've had a lot of injuries and a lot of changes in their team.
Yeah,
that doesn't always help, but it's also it's not an excuse. But I think they've got nearly their full strength team out this week, and I think this week of training will be huge for them. They're just getting all connected and stuff. Yeah. And, I think they've got the big time players. They've got the they've got the sort of superstar players in Munster and all those guys. So I reckon if they turn it on, they'll be too good.
Yeah, and they've had the extra week off. With how would they have handled that week off that they've had?
Yeah,
the 2 week break.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they would have done, whether they had a little bit of a break off but they'd certainly just be getting their bodies right. Yeah, and they're ready, primed for that that game. But
it's not a normal normal person has a work week. Like they get the weekend off. Would they have been given that weekend off? Like would they actually physically have done nothing, or would they? What would you guys have got the weekend off, or would you have still come in and done some a field session or a weight session? Or
everyone's always doing something. No one just sits at home or goes to the beach all the time. Everyone would have done their stretching, they would have done their mobility and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're professional athletes, so they would. I can assure you they'll be doing rehab, massages, all that stuff. So, biggest game of the year coming up. Surely you'll be ready.
And what's really helped Melbourne this week? So Hughes has been named. Jerome Hughes has been named at number 7. Pappenhausen's definitely back, so he's come back into the side after missing the last game through a concussion. So their spine suddenly looks a lot stronger, doesn't it? They've got Pappenhausen, Munster, Hughes, Harry Grant. They're back full strength in the spine, we assume, because we don't know what's happening with Hughes. Okay,
you never know.
So, do you think he'll play? Firstly, 3 weeks after getting a plate and screws put in his arm.
I've never had that sort of injury. I've seen anyone that had that injury, but big game. They would have been doing everything for him to play. He's a big part of their team, so
maybe find the right needles and that. Who knows? Who knows what they might find us to cut all the pain out. If they can do that, he'll definitely be out there on the field. I feel like one more win and then he can. Yeah, and then they know they're in there, so they do that, get him right. Yeah, if he can get through a game, that gives him confidence. And by the time it comes to the grand final, obviously never been in one before, but I feel like it doesn't matter what has happened to your body, you kind of push through. Obviously, you can see with Cooper Cronk and that. So
yeah, and part of the job though for Cronulla this week is to get to Hughes and test that arm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure who the back row. What's the shoes on the right? He's on the right. So
he's
Wilton on the left.
Wilton.
So
he definitely he'd be trying to go out there, test it out. He might be a bit ginger coming off it. He might
because he's also got the shoulder dislocation too. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
He did the arm injury first game back from being out with a shoulder dislocation, which. He did come back early for the shoulder. There was a concern when he came back early whether the shoulder was right. So you could probably argue it's another 3 weeks. Yes, that helps. But you could probably argue that the shoulder's probably still a little bit tender at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd
say they'll be testing it out 100%.
Yeah, they'll be running there. But as I said before, you don't want to be just focusing on that one thing because then you can fall away from your own little...
but it's such an advantage if you can get him off, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You might be able to get a few quick breaks. You might be able to get a few breaks through there, but...
Yeah, because the other thing is too is if you get to him and we don't want to say you re-injure him, but if you can get to him and re-injure him, because that's what they're basically trying to do.
100%.
If you do that, then suddenly their whole rotation of the bench and all that goes.
They got a pretty Wishart on the 14.
They got Wishart, he goes okay, doesn't he?
Yeah, slots in perfect.
Yeah. But is it as simple as just basically running at the shoulder? Like, do they pick the shoulder and just run at it? Is that what you'll do, or do they? I think it was the right shoulder, left arm.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter which way he's going to go. He's in for some pain.
Yeah, well, you got your back row. He's always usually running inside.
Yeah,
the 3-man. So he's always on his inside shoulder, really. So if he just keeps running that line, and maybe you find him earlier, maybe even get a middle, running a little bit across at him.
Would they ever consider swapping him defensively on the other side so he's running at the better shoulder?
Nah, I don't reckon that.
Nah, probably not.
Maybe early on in the set, he'd just defend two in from the sideline, or even just one in from the sideline, just early on in the set, avoid a few tackles. Probably that makes sense, doesn't it? You just shift him out. Yeah.
Just sort of like the 2 defender and just leave him there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't want to do it the whole set. You got to get a feel as a defensive line, make your proper reads, and that would have been practicing all week, I'm sure, of what they're going to be doing. So I'm sure they'll be fine.
Will that be disruptive for Melbourne for their preparation?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know, I feel like he's out there, and he's been named. If he's out there on the field, he knows his job, and he's gonna. He might be a little bit busted, he might be a little bit hurt, but he's he's gonna have to.
Yeah.
They know they're gonna have to show up, and it's a big game. There's gonna be big moments in it, so he's gonna have to be in there.
What about Munster? Munster's he had an unusual year. He had a really tough time during Origin with death of his father, but came out and just responded. All the emotion of all that. It was bottled up. When he came out to play, he was magnificent and really damaging to the Blues. Killed them. And he is a big game player though, isn't he? Like he's a week to week. He has his moments, but big game. He's always on the entire game, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, when I played him down in Melbourne, it was like so good to play against someone that you look up to. And he's 5'8", he's a halfback sort of player, and he just takes the game on and he just backs himself. So you really admire that about him. It's really cool to see someone that plays like that and just lives for the big moments. That's kind of cool.
How do you feel like that when you're young kids coming into the game, right? And you've grown up, you're watching the game, and then suddenly you're running out, and the guy that you've just loved watching play is standing on the opposite side of the field in the other jersey. Like you see Munster, and did you have a player, someone that used to talk about paying halves when you're out,
against him and
come up against him? Like, I imagine there just must be some weird sort of moment there where you just think, God, is this real? Like, is this?
It is actually. You look up and he's running these plays against you, and he's probably got a bit of a game plan on you, and he knows knows what you're doing, and knows your plays. It's pretty cool, just coming.
Did you have any sort of interaction with these guys? Do you remember sort of getting tackled by them, or tackling them, or anything getting said between you, or because Munster gets a bit chirpy.
He was a bit chirpy. I think he was a bit more chirpy towards the ref, trying to get a few pens or something. But they're all good to play against, and it was a competitive game against them, and he's a great player. I'm sure he'll turn it on this weekend. Yeah,
the Melbourne, nothing's going to really surprise us with how Melbourne, if they win this game, is it? They're going to go out and they're just going to do it the Melbourne way. Play what they do well, and just try and just grind and beat Cronulla in the grind. It's interesting, they've played twice this year and it's a win each. So that's, I found that they had a very good win, the Sharks against Melbourne. I think it was round 17 or something like that. So they've got no fear for them.
No, it's gonna be a good matchup. Obviously, 1-1 there. So they know they're beatable, and it's a semi-final, so anything can kind of happen. But it's definitely got a good matchup. And
I'll ask you about how do Melbourne win the game? What do they got to do to win the game?
Take away their time, I reckon, that they have with the ball, especially their halves, and it's just going to be big for their long game. I feel like the longer you can take Cronulla, the more times it's going to open up and take away their power, take away all their strengths. That's what I feel like it's going to be important to them. Take away that Brailey effect with added and that. So and then that obviously stops the halves and everything. So if they're taken away, their defense is going to be massive, and that's what I feel like Melbourne are good at. They get tight and they go after you, wrestle hard. So that's what I feel like going to happen.
Yeah.
He summed it up too good. No, you're similar to Stevie.
Yeah.
But I also think Melbourne's got to play their style of football, and you got to, you can game plan, and then you can also have your own team style and how you guys want to play. And I think, obviously semi-final, big game, get your mindset right. That was what we were big on this year, just get your mindset right and to go after it. But, I think, the Melbourne spine, they're very experienced and they're great players, so they'll have a good little plan. I think if camp them down in their end, Cronulla, and they got a good back five. So if they can stop those guys coming out of their own end and play some football more in their half, it'll probably be in their advantage to win the game. And then, as you said, running at their halves, putting a bit of pressure on them is probably the go.
What about Cronulla? How do they win the game?
What do you reckon, Steve? How do they win? I reckon, obviously, Hughes, he's coming off that injury, so that's a good point to start, powering around that area around him. And then also getting your kicking game right and pinning Pappenhausen in the corners and maybe contestable kicks down the middle. I think that's probably a little bit of an advantage there. And then also, you need to be reading Coates as well, so they like to kick to him and Warbrick as well. So you need to have your last play entourages and that on, and just little short game things like Brailey taking advantage of the ruck, and I think that's how they win the game. Their spine, whoever spine plays the best, will probably win. Yeah,
spine, because they're both so.
Like
you look at their middles, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Then you look at the outside backs.
Good matchups. It's great matchups.
The matchups are just mad.
I think as you said, like those matchups, you just gotta beat your opponent. Half a fullback v fullback.
When you come up with matchups like that, okay, so you look at the outside backs and you put them in that and you check them out and you think, like Melbourne have been sensational all year, but then you look at what Cronulla's like, how they've really come on, and they are full of power. And then you look at the spine. Suddenly the Cronulla spine's got going. Melbourne spine's full of superstars. Like, how much do you have to dominate in that area to tip the things your way? And is there one that's more important than the other?
I think it's always kicking. Kicking can really change the game. But then there's big moments, as you said about Munster. Like, there's always going to be those big moments where it's 40-20 or it's a line break when it's in a big live ball period or something. But it's always there's one or two big moments that could come down to.
So who wins?
You got Steve?
I got Storm. Yeah.
Storm?
Yeah, probably Storm, I reckon.
Storm, right. All right.
What do you got?
I think Storm.
Yeah.
I think Storm, but with no confidence. I just think the way when you see a team like this who are on a real burst of form and have been playing better every week, like Cronulla have been, you never quite know where it's going to tap out, where you're going to get, when they're going to hit that limit. Like they're a chance to go on another level again 100%. Because you're just the way they've been going.
It's like a horse.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Winks. You know what I mean? Like how good is she? Like,
going up in grade.
Yeah, and that's where it's at, and that's the uncertainty. Like it's a tough game to pick this one because I'm reasonably confident what we'll get out of Melbourne, which will be enough if Melbourne are Melbourne.
Yeah.
But Cronulla are on such an upward trend at the moment.
Don't know what
they might go another level again, and then suddenly, if they go out and put a performance on against Melbourne, they're every chance going in as premiership favourites next week. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know where they're at.
Big game, Savo. What do we like?
Me? I like something a little hot.
Hot? Aren't you cold in there?
Not with the fiery flavor of PointsBet. It's like hot sauce, but for sport. Kicks different, makes the game extra spicy.
Shotgun counts.
Now that's coming in hot.
Fire up your NRL finals with PointsBet. Yeah, that's built different. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Hey everyone, Paul Kent here for PointsBet. Just wanted to go through and tell you what I think is really hot this weekend. And PointsBet have acknowledged that. They've got a little bit of a special out this weekend. Ryan Pappenhausen, very, very dangerous through the middle. I think that's where he's going to do his most damaging work this week. Ryan Pappenhausen to score either the first, second or third try for the Storm against Cronulla on Friday night and multi that into a Melbourne win, $4.75. I think that's quite attractive odds, particularly given how hot Pappenhausen is. He scored 14 tries in 19 games this season, so he won't be far away. Get on.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Anyway, let's move on. Broncos Panthers again. Two sides here. It's very, very hard to definitively say, okay, this is where the game will be won. Like Broncos again were kind of there, kind of weren't for much of the season, and then they've come through the last few weeks. They've been on a pretty good run, and then that win against Canberra 2 weeks ago, which I think was such a boost for them that they would have got a lot out of that. That suddenly they're sitting there and thinking, you know what, we're in the fight here, and not so much because it was respectfully the Canberra team that they beat, but the manner in which they did it. Yeah. The fact that they went into extra time, the fact that with 14 minutes to go, they're down by 16. Yeah. They come back, send it into extra time, and then from there they go another 15 minutes and win the game. What is that
games?
It was mad. Wasn't it? What about Canberra? Canberra had the game won twice.
Oh,
literally had the game won
twice. Over. We're all at the pub. We're all at the Chloe. We're all watching it on our, on our Mad Monday drinks at the Chloe. We're all watching it. We sort of stopped watching the last 15, and then everyone goes, they're coming back, and everyone stopped drinking their beer and started watching the last 15.
Yeah, that was mad. And then Fogarty scores, called back. Like it's just I don't know how they did it, mate. Yeah, it was anyway. The Brisbane performance. What do they get out of a win like that?
It's a massive boost for them. I think they knocked off the minor premiers and then how good a form Canberra were in. They're coming in, and once I feel like Broncos know they're in that prelim, they can do anything. They're coming up against Penrith and and that's going to be a good matchup. But it just, you have a bit of confidence there. I know once you start coming in with a few wins rolling in, if you feel good, you feel confident in your game and stuff. But so that's going to be a good game.
Bit of momentum.
Yeah,
exactly.
Momentum.
Yeah. And the thing is that they've got Mike Maguire. He's in his sweet spot now. He's a coach. I think as a coach, he kind of struggles when he coaches a team like West Tigers because he sort of demands a certain level out of them. And they probably as a group can't get there. Whereas he gets a team like the Broncos, which is full of elite talent, and it's taken a little bit of work to get there, but he's got them where he needs them to be now. And he won the premiership at South, as we all know. He won a premiership over in England when he was coaching over there. He coaches good teams very well, if that makes sense. Yeah. And he's finally got this side now where he needs them to be. They've got Adam Reynolds back this week. They've got Ezra Mam on the bench. So suddenly he's got a little bit of talent coming back into the side. He's lost Carrigan. He's got to cop that. But other than that, he's pretty much got Brisbane where he if you'd asked him at the start of the season, I think he's exactly where he'd hoped he'd be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's obviously what he was working for, and he's a successful coach. And he, like you said, with the right troops, he can push them to their limit and get the best out of them. And that's why that's why they're gonna know that it's gonna be a good game. Yeah, 100%.
The inclusion of Reynolds at halfback, Hunt shifts to the 5'8", Mam on the bench. What does that do for the Broncos? Is that when you get players back into your side like that, even as well as they've been playing, how much of it is do you feel as a pickup as opposed to hang on? Well, we've been playing great with this combination. Yeah. How do you balance that?
Well, I think you play your best players, I guess. And they would have had big training sessions this week, just building that connection again with those combos coming back in. And you got a bit of firepower there with Ezra on the bench. So, Reynolds will steer the ship, and so will Hunt, and they got plenty of firepower out wide. So I think it's just them, gelling and getting the team going and connected. It'd be pretty hard to stop too.
How will they use Mam this week?
What do you reckon? I don't know.
I think
Does
so,
Hunt
to be
go to
honest.
9, and then he goes to 5A, or what? I'm not
Might
sure.
end up doing
Do
that.
they bring him on early? Like, they bring him on 10 to go in the first half? They wait till halfway through the second half to bring him on? Reece Walsh has been in sensational form, and partly because we don't know. Has it been the halves combinations kind of unlocked him when they had Billy Walters there with Hunt playing 7, but then Mam comes on and complements kind of what Walsh can do. Mam is almost equally capable of, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's electrifying with the ball. Do they cancel each other out a little bit? Like, how does that work with Mam coming off the bench?
For sure. Like you said, it could come late first half or mid second half. Like he's, no matter what, he's going to bring that energy and that speed and that spark. And they've also got Walsh there. So I don't know. I feel like they might. I don't know if they'll cancel each other out. It's just like it's another person to go to, I guess. Like it's another strike that you can use and another weapon.
Yeah.
Extra ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you make earlier this week when Reece Walsh was asked, how do you deal with Cleary? And he looked at the journal and said, how does he deal with us?
It's confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah, that's confidence. Yeah, he believes in his boys and everything. He's obviously trying to shut down that question, saying out like obviously Cleary is a very good player and everything, but I feel like he's just focused on himself and the Broncos, like they're focused on what they need to do.
Get their rematch.
Yeah.
100%,
Well, that's the other part. I reckon I'd be worried. If I was Penrith, we know Walsh was very confident. He plays with confidence. But he's playing so well with confidence now. Like, that'd be a bit of a warning for me. I'd be thinking, oh, shit, he's ready. Like, he's in that, when you as a player, you get in that sweet spot and you just know you're playing well and things just start to happen for you. You make the right calls. Your instincts are so good. Your timing's good. Like everything's just working. Walsh seems to be in that spot right now.
Yeah, I think he's obviously that last 15 minutes of the Raiders game. That's crazy.
And he took it upon himself.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like someone helped him into it. He just
he
like,
knows
you know
he
what?
can do it.
We've got 15 minutes left. Let's just go for it. And they did. And it all just happened.
Yeah, I think also I just touched on before. It'd be a big motivation for the whole Broncos team that they played in that 23 grand final and they got beat in the last 15 minutes of the game. So I think they'll try to be the best team in the last 20 minutes of the semi final. I think that'll be a big thing on their game is play for the full 80 minutes.
Yeah. Well, they played. See, in that 23 grand final, they stopped playing against Penrith. They got in front. Thought, okay, we got it, and they tried to sort of just put the game to bed, and clearly they went too early. Canberra made the same mistake against them. Canberra stopped playing. They thought, okay, it's 15 minutes to go. We're 3 tries in front. They can't possibly score 3 in 15 minutes the way we're going. They stopped playing, stopped challenging the Broncos' defence. The Broncos got a little bit of win back defensively and had it to come at them then when they had the attack. So there's a real lesson there for Brisbane this week. And they're up against the best side in the comp that you would think about as the side that you just cannot relax against is Penrith. You just squidded then. Don't agree with me?
No. Obviously, that
But you know what I mean? Like Penrith are so dangerous.
no, obviously you got that 23 grand final is a great example.
Yeah.
And Cleary there, he always has something up his sleeve, I guess. So you never switch off as a team, but they'll have a big emphasis this week on being the best team for the full 80.
So how do they go about it this week? The Penrith side was so impressive last week. That first 40 minutes last week against Canterbury,
it's clinical.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It was a perfect half of footy in many ways, wasn't it? Because they just blew Canterbury away, and the Bulldogs just had no answer. Just how do you deal with it? They didn't give them a chance. They made no mistakes. Every kick that Cleary put down was a good kick. It was not like not only were they getting through the sets, the kicks at the end of the sets were perfect kicks.
Yeah,
everything was going right.
I think I looked at it popped up on the screen, but I think Canterbury might have made a few errors. I think if Broncos just complete out of their own end and then just grind and kicking game of Reynolds and Hunt just steer the ship, equal with Cleary, and have a good battle with the kicking game there and finish him in, bad positions. And then when they get their opportunity in Penrith, and they got a few good tricks there, Broncos.
How tough is it going to be for Brisbane to get into that grind though? Because they're not really known as a grind team, are they? They're more they come in, they're like the blitzkrieg, boom, and they just launch on you, and they can sort of fade out a little bit at times in the contest, but then they'll burst back.
Sure, they'll try to start fast as well.
Yeah,
100%.
They'll just try to start fast, try to blow them off the park or something. But then obviously you got Reynolds there who will just weather the storm if that doesn't happen.
Just hold on for that long period and just go with them. I feel like it's going to be big for obviously their back five are going to have to get them out of trouble as well. And then you got big Payne there, and it's like it hurts not having Carrigan there going up there with him, 1-2 punch. So it's going to be one of the other middles, and they're going to have to step up heaps and follow with him. And
Reynolds is going to be very important, isn't he? Just to keep them in the contest, to keep them leveled out, like because of their explosion that they can play with. He needs to just almost take himself out of that and just go, I'm just going to keep kicking the corners.
Steer the ship.
Yeah.
He'll just steer the ship, I reckon. And, they got Walsh there, and they got Stags and all those weapons out wide. And I think he'll just steer the ship. And, when Ezra comes on, he can bring a bit of fire to it.
Is it as simple as that for Brisbane? Is that just how they play it, just to try and do that? Like, if you're Brisbane, how are you going to try and win the game against Penrith? Because it's a tough one, isn't it?
Well, I think they come with that tight line, and they fly off the line, and they get numbers in the tackles. So whether they want to move the ball and try, get a few easy meters early, and upset the defensive line, that could be a little plan they might have up their sleeve. But obviously they're key players. Penrith, you got to lock them down. If Cleary has a man of the match performance, they'll be winning.
Penrith are so good. They did it on the weekend. That Cleary's kicking game was so good. And nearly always they're getting in their own 20, the Bulldogs, getting tackled in their own 20. And there's one period there where I can't remember who it was, got a little bit of territory. Yeah. But they grabbed him, held him, and then drove him back into his own 20. Yeah. And just basically just wrecked their entire set.
Yeah. So I forgot who it was. But I remember it clearly first half.
Yeah, and they just wrecked that whole set. Then was a write-off. And Penrith are so good at that. Canterbury do it quite well themselves as well. But Penrith are so good at just front-loading those first couple of tackles.
It's crazy.
Really, to what we were talking about earlier in the show about stopping that set getting started and. They're the best at it, Penrith, at really just ruining your set and giving you no momentum, no ruck speed. You're basically, from tackle one, it's just a wall there.
Stuck at the moment.
Stuck.
Yeah. How do you get around that? How do you beat that?
As I said, I think you can maybe, like, obviously Broncos got a very powerful, they've got a powerful team there, but you can also move the ball a bit more to make the tackles one-on-one. Or
do they do that a bit? That's a risk, isn't it?
It is a risk, but early shift just to upset the line maybe a little bit. I think Broncos might look to do that and use a little bit of speed on their edges and get a few one-on-one tackles instead of going straight into the meat of them, because that's where they want you to run. Yeah.
Now, flip side, how tough is it to sort of stop that Penrith? Because that's the other thing they do. They work very hard at is getting that momentum off their own kick returns, where Edwards gets the ball, or Toto gets in there and upsets everybody. They're very good at just getting in there, punching ahead through the defensive line, quick play the ball, and suddenly they're off.
Yeah. I reckon, Steve, you're a middle. You'd have to stop them. You'd have to stop them.
Oh no, it's just like obviously what we were saying before, just getting combo tackles, getting shoulder to shoulder. Getting that marker play has to be on, because if you're not letting them run past you, like those markers, shutting them down, going out, getting their legs and everything, just to slow them down. Because like you said, like Toto going through, he's that hard to tackle. He's just rock. Yeah. And then Edwards on his kick returns and that, your kick sprint's going to have to be on. You have to have numbers there, otherwise he's going to
get too tight. They'll spread it as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like you get too tight, you tighten up too much, and then it's got all that on the outside, like the excellence. So.
Is that Cleary's call if you do that?
Yeah, I reckon
100%.
He'd be able to see everything. I think they got that much power coming out the back end. He'd just be looking up and seeing where's space, and he just he just does it.
As a halfback, what do you see when you watch Cleary play?
Well, I always try to watch him, and you watch the good halfbacks when you watch the games, and you just always see his eyes are up, and he's always identifying stuff, and he just does it. Like, I think he went for a 40-20 kick on the weekend. He wanted to kick it after the game, so he wanted to kick it down the left-hand side, and he seen Tracy track him, so he squared up and he kicked it down the right-hand side, and he got the 40-20s. It's just stuff like that he just sees. I think he sees the game a lot slower than everyone else does. So he's I think Broncos got to take time and space away from him.
Yeah. How's that happen?
You got to slow the ruck down, and then you got to obviously there's a little bit of a not say target. You don't want to just be searching for him, but on high alert when he's around the ball. Make sure you lock him up.
How difficult is it, as a playmaker like yourself, how difficult is it when Cleary looks up this week and he sees whatever Brisbane is trying to do to counter what they're doing, and firstly he has a recognition, okay, they've tightened up, so I'm going to look wide to try and just get out to the edges and try and spread them a bit and just sort of disrupt their attack. If you see that and you go, I know what your play is, okay, what your call is for it. But if you see that and you say, okay, we can't go punching through here, we need a shift. How difficult or how much time does that take for you to go to when you recognise it to go, boys, it's such and such is on, whatever your name is. Like, is that, or does that take a tackle to adjust?
Yeah, well, it might take a bit to adjust. It might be one set or two set. You go, all right, they're a bit tight now.
Yeah,
we might need to move the ball, but I'm sure he's done a lot of video, and he has a plan B, C, and D if for all those things happen. So, I'm sure he's got it all worked out, and he'll pick the best option.
Yeah. But what about the guys around him? How hard is it for them to adjust for him to recognise something and go, actually, I was going to call this, now I'm going to call that?
Yeah, I think they'll be all on the same page, and they'll have those calls, and they'll know as soon as if he calls it, it's on. Like it might be a call, it might just even be a little look.
Yeah,
like, stay up, like Tyler, stay wide or whatever. So stay wide, and he just fires it. But they got such a good system there at Penrith that I think it could just be a call.
Yeah.
And they're all in sync.
How do you see the game being played out this week between those two?
I don't know, I think it'll start fast for sure.
Yeah.
That Suncorp, the first 10, 20
daylight,
minutes.
Day game.
Yeah,
day game.
Yeah, first 20 minutes at Suncorp, it'll be on. It'll be a fast game of football, and then I reckon the kicking will be huge between Cleary, Reynolds, and be a good contest as well.
What about the middle? What do you see happening around there?
Oh, it's gonna be sort of, someone's gonna have to back up with Payne. Payne's gonna he's usually got Carrigan around with him and that, and he's gonna have to lock up there with Moses and who's the other side front rower?
Henson, isn't it? Does he start Corey Henson?
For Penrith. For
Penrith, Collins, isn't it?
Yeah, Lindsay Smith. Yeah, Lindsay Smith.
Sorry.
Collins
and with you guys.
So it's going to be a good matchup, and obviously the back rowers as well. And it's going to be it's just going to be who's going to be one of the more. They're going to have to power out, defend hard.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good battle. But I see them trying to go after Payne, shut him down. He's their energy, sort of a bit like Adden. He's their energy. He's their big man, and if they can kind of take his time away and his his specialty in getting that power going, running hard tiring him up in D. I feel like that's what Penrith will do. They'll tire him up, especially with their long game which they love so much. They will just keep going back.
Keep the ball in play.
Yeah, keep the ball in play. And
Penrith will try and keep it in play.
I reckon.
Yeah. And the Bronx will just try and slow it down and be explosive.
Maybe, I reckon. Maybe. Cleary will have a little plan, I'm sure, but I reckon, if they keep the ball in play, that's what Penrith's best game is.
Yeah. Is that because they're so good at the transition?
Yeah, I reckon they're just such a, they back their D. Whether it's 4 outside
they're
back
comfortable
carries.
with that, aren't they?
Yeah, they're comfortable. Whether it's 4 outside back carries and they kick it in the corner and then they start the next set further up, I think they're happy to do that. And then they know when they get down there, their system's so good, and they've got the good ball players and Cleary and Yo there in the middle, and also Blaze on that edge. They just back their system and they back their game plan. They're not going to go and change that. I think they'll play the long game.
So, who did Melbourne play in the grand final, according to you blokes?
Wow. I don't know, actually.
Penrith?
Going
Yeah,
Penrith,
Penrith.
Penrith, Melbourne grand final. Yep.
It's pretty impressive. That'll be, 6 grand finals in a row?
Yeah.
Wow,
That's crazy.
I actually don't know.
And it's going to be
I can't wait for the game.
It's going to be a good story as well, coming from bottom of the ladder. There's a bit more external stuff going on there.
Bottom of the ladder, round 12, they were.
Yeah.
But then Broncos be thinking 23
Yeah, that's
grand final, so
100%.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of motivation and just even to play.
A lot
in
of
the grand
guys still
final.
playing from that game too.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
It means something, so it's gonna be a good
Broncos.
game, good week finals.
I'm gonna say Broncos.
You're saying
Little
Broncos?
upset.
Bronx, yeah, a little upset.
There you go. Mate, I want to say thank to both of you. It's been wonderful. I like talking footy with guys who are sort of sitting there doing all the video and all the watching everyone and sort of have that insight to the game that we don't often get out in our world. We tend to focus on all the surface level shit there. You know what I mean? But it's been great. So
been good.
thanks for coming in.
No problem.
You're back in full training and all that now. You got no injuries.
No,
have you?
no, all
You're
good.
flying at the
Yeah,
moment.
flying.
And you'll be playing for Cowboys next season. No, I'm joking, mate. Look, you actually don't think you'll find out till November 1? Are they giving you any indication? You one bloke, because you have a crucial. I know I'm going back on it, but
that's fine.
you actually do have a dog in the fight here.
Yeah, I got to, Chimes will be meeting with the Roosters over the next few weeks, and then hopefully I'll have a few meetings with them and
All right.
and Robbo and just see where my position is at the club. And I've really loved the club and I express
Let's hope you
love for
stay
the club.
there, eh?
Yeah, I hope to stay there.
100%.
That's what I want to do, and I'm
Yeah.
an East boy, and I love Steve.
Let's
I
hope
love
they
all the
announce
boys.
Daly as just an assistant coach or something.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that, but
Oh, thanks for coming in,
all
guys.
good.
It's been great.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
few winners on Saturday.